rolling? Nice. Peace. Welcome to episode 7 of Meet Your Makers. How are you?
I'm great today. I'm having a great day so far. How are you?
I'm cool. So just to let you know, we're going to be in conversation. So we don't have to worry about this. Just me and you. So, but I'm going to share it with a bunch of people.
Okay.
So, let's see. But before we start, can you introduce yourself to those people, and then you can come back to
you. Okay. You're going to be there when I get back,
yeah,
right?
do your thing.
Hello, my name is Charli. I am introducing myself. So, I'm a lot of things. Professionally, I am a fitness trainer, a life coach, nutrition expert, and I am in the business of, not to sound cliche, but I'm in the business of facilitating lifestyle transformation. So giving you the tools and resources that you need in order to live a sustainable, healthier lifestyle for a good time and a long time.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Nice. How was that for you?
That was easy. That was the easy part.
Nice. So, it's been a while since I've seen you, right? Mm-hmm. And like, the last time we were in like consistent communication, we were working on a project. And we were working on your videos, right? So, when was that?
February through May 2021.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. That's been 2 years?
Crazy.
No, I understand. So then, what you been up to since then?
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You gotta break down that question.
Okay. So like, okay. No. So after the project, the project you did, I don't know how to describe, you did the swimsuit competition, but I don't want to just like
downplay it by calling it a swimsuit competition.
So like, when was it officially?
I got into bodybuilding in the bikini category.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And so I remember we were talking to that. We were talking like leading up to that.
Oh, she's there.
I remember we were talking leading up to that, and like the things that you were having to do to get to the point of like feeling comfortable on stage, and like that process. And then afterwards, right after that competition, you were talking about keeping it going, and then there were. I think that's when like our communication like kind of stopped, like slowed down. So after that competition, there's the expectation that you were going to keep going, but then we talked about like continuing to go forward with it and then stopping. And so like so from that competition, what went into the thought process of like not continuing that competition?
Okay. Thank you for breaking that down, making it more bite-sized.
Yeah.
So in the training, I remember like I'm working my ass off, pardon my French, and I am not going to lose this body. Mm-hmm. Like, as hard as I was working, I knew that it was just like I'm finally getting to that point where this is going to be something I can maintain and sustain. So I think after the competition, I had to, during the competition, I had to totally strip myself of so many things, right?
Yeah.
People, places, things, thoughts were just being stripped away because I was so like, my focus had to be so narrow. And I had to be so disciplined and I had to be so restrictive. And so that didn't just reflect itself in the things I was eating or the things I was doing. Like, I had to be in bed at a certain time. Like, so just so many different things. I had to wake up at a certain time, like, and I had to optimize the hours of my day so that it didn't interfere with my sleep, because sleep was an important part of, you know, my recovery and all that type of stuff. So I realized that when I transitioned out of training, I didn't know how to recalibrate. I didn't know how to, because training and stuff like that isn't something that for me at that point in time, it really wasn't sustainable. That was not a sustainable lifestyle, the things that I had to do in order to prepare for that show. So once the hype of everything, you know, the competition went really well. And once everything like died down, I was like, okay, wait, what do I do? And I had coaches at that time, but I wasn't in communication with my coaches anymore. They gave me some quick tips as to how to transition out and how to rebound. Well, you don't want to rebound, but how to, you know, get back into your normal routine. But I still was kind of left. I felt very alone. So that just slowly, as I started transitioning back into my old habits that weren't necessarily resolved things weren't resolved. And that's the best way I guess I can say it. Different habits of mine that weren't good for me, I didn't necessarily get rid of them or work on them cautiously. I just knew I had to stop stuff in order to win. Yeah. Everything was to win. It wasn't really to do inner work or inner healing or try to really address the wounds that had surfaced during that transition. Does that make sense? And so anyway, snapping back into reality, it was just like, okay, I don't know what to do now. And then I just slowly started drifting. And I had so many different major, during that drift, I had so many major things happen in my environment around me, like my job and all of this different type of stuff. And I know we kind of touched on that the other day. I wasn't satisfied with like my work anymore, like after that. So it was just like after that competition, I remember consistently saying like, this is, although I'm reaching a finish line in this training, it's also a starting point for me. Yeah. And I was saying that because it sounded good, but it really did start just this, it really was like this major shift in my life that it really ignited a major shift in my life that I didn't anticipate. I thought I was going to keep on elevating, and I didn't.
And so like,
did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You did. And I was gonna move on to the next question, but I was like, but I wanted to follow up with like some of those things that were coming up for you, and like, how did you get through them? Because it's like you said, like you had a trajectory that was based in like this competition, and like I'm very familiar with like someone, once I focus on something, that's all I can focus on. And then when I come out of focusing on that thing, I realize like, oh, there's a bunch of things going on out here. Oh shit, my bad. Sorry guys, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like I'm someone who can like have a narrow focus and think that that's the whole thing. So then like when you come out of the competition space and you're getting, because even outside of competition, I feel like you're like already one of the more disciplined people when it comes to like your routine, as far as like meal prepping, eating certain foods and things like that. So like when you come out of the competition space and are going back into like your normal processing, like what's that transition like? I know you said it's like it was difficult, but like what feelings are coming up for you?
I think it was more so, I think like I mentioned, I felt completely lost. Because I knew when you're training for a competition like that, like I said, it's highly restrictive, right? So I was eating very few things. And for the first time in my life, in my training experience, I was being coached. I've never been coached in anything before. I had trainers. I had a coach in California. I had a coach locally, and my dad was also doing that. And I had another posing coach. So for the first time, someone was telling me exactly what to do. And so then when I, like I said, stepped out of that realm and everything was done, I was just like, I don't know what to do anymore. It's like I really had put everything that I knew on the back burner to be able to understand, like, I've never done bodybuilding. I don't know anything about it. So coming into that space where all of my knowledge, I mean, a lot of things really challenged the things that I've always known. And essentially training like that is not safe. It's not something that's for everybody. And like I said, that's not where you live, and I didn't know that. So when I knew that, okay, I've gotten to this size, I've gotten to this place physically, I didn't really understand at that time what it had done to me emotionally, spiritually, hormonally. Like, it really did a lot of damage in those places, but I didn't recognize that at the time. I just knew that I had to keep this body up. And now it's like, I thought, it's funny because I thought that doing that competition was going to help me to skyrocket in my career. So I guess right after that, I went into, like, after the competition, I was just like, okay, I'm going to keep climbing. It's time for me to do this for my business, and really, I'm going to blow up now. I'm going to blow up. That was my thing. I'm going to blow up. I finally got the body. I did the work. I went through this process, got the program that we did. I'm going to blow up now. And then when I didn't, that's when I started, like, feeling empty. I thought that show was going to fill me and make me, like I said, help me to reach all, do all these different things and just be the catalyst into, like, this whole new realm and dimension of the industry. But it didn't do that for me. And so I think more than anything, I was so disappointed and heartbroken. And that's what kind of led me into, like, a spiral from there. So going back to how I felt, like I said, started feeling, like I said, empty, inadequacy, shame and guilt, because it's like, you did good, like, you did really good for your first show, but it's still, and I was still like, but it's not enough. It clearly wasn't enough if now, like, this program hasn't sold 1,000 copies, or if I'm not getting all these calls to be sponsored, or like all of these all of these things that I thought are what were required in order to validate all of the work that I put in, right? Or my position in my position in this field. So I would have to say, more than anything, I just was like, I don't know what to do anymore. And being in the profession of teaching at the same time, it really came to a place where I was like, I don't even feel like I know I don't want to work anymore. So I started to feel bad about that. Like, going to work every day was draining. I was exhausted, and it was just like, I can't keep teaching these kids. They deserve somebody that really want to be here. So that brought up a lot of feelings, literally driving to work and hating what you're doing, knowing that you're doing a good thing, you're good at it. I enjoy, like, the interaction, the engagement, and pouring into lives, just not in this capacity. So I say those immediate next 6 months, because the show was in December 2021. So between then and, like, the end of the school year was just like, the rug was, like, really slid from beneath my feet. Yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yes.
I have to keep on making sure, because I go off on tangents.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Nah, for sure. I just had that conversation with somebody today. Where it's just like, y'all see how much work I'm doing? I'm tired, bro. And it's just like, there's like, well, maybe you need to do this. I'm like, bro, do you understand what I just said?
Tired.
I'm tired. I want what I've been doing to be enough. And they're just like, more. And I'll be like, no. I'll be like, no.
I don't have anything else to give.
Yeah, like, I'm tapped out. And then like being in that place and still having to show up because that's the nature of the beast that we exist in. We're just like, everybody's tired. And it's just like, okay, so maybe we should just all take a collective rest then.
Yeah.
But they're just like, no, the machine has to keep going. And it's like, yeah, and it's like that same disappointment of just like, dang, bro, I thought this was gonna be the thing. I thought this was gonna be the thing. And it's just like, no. Gotta keep going.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so there's something that you said in the answering the first question about during the training for the competition, you're like, I gotta keep this body. And so I've seen you we did the program in 2021 February, and then I seen you go into training and like have your body completely change for the competition in December. And then I've also seen you sharing your transition like into a space that is where you feel comfortable with your body now. And like, how do you get to that place after seeing the possibilities from the competition? And like that balance of like, okay, this is competition body, but then this is the body that I exist with outside of that space. And like, how do you get comfortable with not always having the competition body?
I think recognizing that, I think recognizing and really accepting that, like I said before, that that's not normal. I was dangerously, women physiologically should not be at such a low body fat. Like, we're meant to have fat in order to function. Like, you know what I mean? There are certain metabolic processes that can't take place without, you know, certain things being a certain way. And I was definitely in a, like I said, a very restrictive state. And like during that time, like I said, it wasn't just like, oh, I was sad, but my hormone profile was jacked up. Because I wasn't getting stimulation socially. Because I had cut people off and like I couldn't socialize, like I really had to cut so many things off. So knowing that that is not even, like I said, a place where you live, and just coming into a place where, because I rebounded pretty rapidly, and also rebounding also does even more damage. And rebounding just basically means gaining that weight back pretty fast. There's like steps and stages you should go through in order to slowly gain your weight back. But I mean, it took your girl probably like 5 months, maybe less, to get back to my starting weight. And it's just like one of those things, you don't see it happening day by day. It's just like you wake up and it's just like, oh, I'm back. Like, and so initially I felt shame and guilt. I think I was like off social media for a little while because I thought that I can't be a fitness expert and not be able to maintain, or, you know, I am preaching to people or just like a person that people look up to motivate them. And here I am reaching this goal, and then 5 months later getting back to my normal. Like, I can't be, you know, that really made me doubt my ability and my influence and my impact. So I went through all of those. And so then I got to a place where I was just like, okay, now I got to be aggressive and get back to where I am before I can show back up on social media. And and again, really be comfortable with who I am. So I really can't pinpoint like what it took to get back here now. I really can't, like, not right without thinking about it for a little while. You know, it takes me a little while to process some things.
That's fine.
But now, like, when I look at myself, I know that my body isn't like stage ready or whatever the case may be, but I know it's attainable. I know what I have to do to get there. I know what it requires, and I know it's possible. And now that I've done it before, I know I can do it again, but better. Now that I know how to better go through. You know, whenever you do something the second time, it's easier the second time, because I went in really full of pride, like, oh, this won't be easy. Like, I'm already healthy. I already work out. I got very much so humbled. So I guess now I'm just like super, and let me enjoy like where I'm at and where I'm sitting, because I know that when I do decide to compete again, I'm going to definitely have to, like, I just got it. I don't know. It's like, I know it's a cliche, but life is too short for me to be, okay, let me say it this way. You ever look back at a picture of yourself and you're like, oh, I look good. Yeah. But probably during that time, you probably thought you probably were insecure, or you felt like you were, whatever the case may be. I look at old pictures of myself and be like, oh, I actually look better than I thought back in that mindset back then. So I know I'm going to look back at pictures of myself and be like, I am pissed that I thought that I didn't look good back then. Yeah. So it's just like we have this perception that other people can't see. So I try to look at myself through a lens of like, you're the best, like each day I'm the best version of myself. Whether it's a good day or a bad day, I'm better than I was yesterday because I have the experience of the day prior and all the days prior. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I guess just coming more so from a space of not picking myself apart, but just being grateful that my body can do those things. I'm going to say this again, but I don't know if that answers the question, but I feel like I'm going to keep saying that. But, I think it's definitely not an easy place to be. But one of the things that I probably have said before, that process really gave me some perspective, because I think I got to that place in my career that I was so far removed from being able to relate to my clientele. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't know what it was really like to struggle. Like, what you mean you can't meal prep? Like, what you mean you can't eat the same? Like, what you mean it's hard for you to wake up early and work out for 20? Like, so going into a place where I had to get out of my comfort zone to reach a goal that I never met before, like I had to lose 30 pounds. And that's typically how much people want to lose, that 10, that 20, that 30. Some people, of course, more or less. But I know what it's like to step on the scale and be like, oh my goodness, I worked so hard these past 2 weeks. I haven't seen anything change. Yeah. What is it that I have to do? Do I have to eat less and work harder? So it definitely gave me more perspective, and being able to go through that transformation and go through the highs and lows to get back to where I am now, really just full circle, gave me it gave me a lot of humility. Yeah. And now I can talk to my clients so much more. Again, it's not just fluff. I was just talking to a client this morning. She was just like, the stuff that you give, it's not fluff. It's like, it's meat on the bones. Like, it's so good. And if I just follow these steps, I know that I'll be successful. And my success rate is not any reflection of like the quality of your content or what you do. It's just me warring with myself. And for someone to be like warring with myself, I know exactly what that feels like, so I can better speak to that specifically. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
that was gonna be my next question, is like, how has this process affected or impacted your ability to coach now and teach now? Because you've gone through what people are going through. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what a tough day looks like. And so when they come to you with tough days, it's like, oh, yeah, I've been there. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it. And let's see what we have to do today to make sure that we can keep going tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And so, so you sort of segued into the next question, because that was going to be like, how has this impacted your coaching?
I'm always 2 steps ahead.
Girl, I still wonder if you've answered the question.
Cause I just be like, wait, bring it back.
Here's what I need people to understand about me, is that I'm the same way. So I just be following all the paths. So like, people be like, I'll let you know if you're rambling.
I trust you.
I'll bring you back. Like, I'll ask somebody, I'll be like, how are you? And they'd be like, my name is such and such and I do this. And I'd be like, that's awesome. But how are you?
Yes.
And then they'll be like, you're right, you did ask that question. I'll be like, yes, I did. And I want my answer. So
touche.
I'll let you know.
All right, just don't be looking so like, well, she, when you talk for a long time, you feel like the other person is just like,
or you could
feeling a little sleepy.
You could just make eye contact with me.
I am making eye contact.
And see,
okay.
You could just check in and be like, he's
still there?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Okay, so what was the question? The question was...
You already answered it.
My people. No, you were talking about my people, my ability to coach. How has it impacted that? And I already answered it.
You already answered it.
But I can still... so much more compassion, right?
Yeah.
And being able to... When you're able to sit down, I think a major difference that has happened for me, and I'm so grateful for it. Like, I'm grateful for this process. I know, again, that's a cliche, but my mindset has evolved. And I've always been like thorough, deep, grounded, but they're just different levels of that. You don't know what you don't know. And so I feel like now I'm able to have that honest self-assessment within myself. And so helping people like what questions to ask yourself in order to draw out what needs to be revealed. A lot of times I think people don't have that security within themselves to be able to have that conversation. Like, you are the reason you are where you are, essentially. And so being able to have those conversations and vulnerability with myself, because one thing I wasn't always is vulnerable. And so going through that process and everything, what you laughing for? What you laughing for?
Because I know.
I was just telling my friend, I had a lot of conversations today. Talking so loud. But I was just like, I used to be so reactive, right? Like, just when things would come my way, I would react rather than actually digesting, processing, responding, right? I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but now that I'm able, because I didn't want to, emotions just used to like go through the line and spit them out. Like, I never really broke them down and determined like, why do I feel the way I do? Even the petty stuff, like petty stuff will make you feel a type of way, but you don't want to talk about it because it's petty. But you really need to investigate why even that petty thing bothers you. Like, you know what I mean? So even being so intuitive within myself has allowed me to be able to recognize that that's what most people are lacking. Like, if you are able to be vulnerable within yourself, it will change the things around you. Because life is just all a matter of perception. So, see, when you scratch, it's just like
What?
It's just like, okay.
No, my beard.
That's what I hear.
My beard.
I know. Okay, and so, yeah, I think being able to help people to identify, like, these are the reasons why. What did one of my coaches say? We all want to get from point A to point B. What is the change that has to take place? Yeah. You're not just going to get there because time passes. Yeah. Because you get the degree, because you get the trophy, because you acquire all of these new skills and whatever the case may be. But what has to change in you? And then are you ready to recognize the changes that have to take place and do what it takes? Yeah. Or are you just trying to do them for a little while just to get you a little snack? Like, you know what I mean? A little satisfaction for a little while. Mm-hmm. So, really being able to dig in, like I'm like really digging in.
Yeah, it's like, so I was having some thoughts this week, and it was just like, we are the results of what we repeat. So the things that we do over and over again also the things that we say over and over again too. It's just like, yeah, so like we are the results of what we repeat. And like, and that's something that I do with a lot of my clients too, is like, when it comes to like consulting and stuff, I'll be like, where are we? Where do we want to get to? And like, what are the steps that we need to take for us to get from here to there? And so like, I like to start with the end in mind. So, have you quenched your thirst?
I'm upset because remember when I took the top off?
Yeah.
For the straw isn't as secure right now, so I'm really struggling.
Oh, wow.
So that wasn't as satisfying as it probably looked.
You had to take some deeper sips to get what you wanted.
Basically. No, but that's true. Like we are a product of our thoughts. Essentially, everything starts with a thought. Mm-hmm. Like everything you do, everything you say starts with a thought. So you really have to go to the source. And so it's not just a superficial. And that's why I tell people, like, if you want to work with me, I'm not sure. If you're just trying to get slim for the vacation, I'm not sure. And I knew that, like, I recognized that in myself a long time ago, but now I really know why. I could probably say that differently. But it just allowed me to be able to really identify the people that I can work with. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not perfect, but it's like I'm not compatible with everyone. So it even allows me, because I've been in situations where I work with people or they didn't get the results that they anticipated, and then like they're dissatisfied, and then it makes me feel insecure about what I'm doing. And I really internalized, because I'm really a people person. I love to impact people in a dynamic way. And so when I feel like what I'm doing or what I'm trying to help you with, my service isn't working, I'm like really challenged, like I'm really struggling, like what am I doing wrong? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I realized also that you have to kind of profile, you have to have a client profile. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you really have to be, I have to be very intentional with where I disperse my energy, because I pour. Mm-hmm. And so it has to be a situation where you are ready, like I said, are you ready to recognize the changes that had to take place and know that this isn't going to be an easy process? Mm-hmm. And so I'm not the trainer or the coach or whatever that's just like, nice to meet you, what's your goal? Okay, eat this for the next 21 days. I'm not her. I can be her, but then I'm kind of like, I'm just trying to do it to get a check. And I'm not really, I mean, we all want to make money. I want to be successful, but that's not my assignment. Mm-hmm. You know, like my assignment isn't just to make money. So
then what do you define as being successful?
I mean, I'm not saying that making money is not like important. However, like being successful is being impactful. Being successful is going through my trials and tribulations and shortcomings and the feelings and the days that I want to quit and I want to give up, and overcoming those obstacles and being able to share my testimony with people, being able to come out on the other side and not looking like what I've been through.
You got all the church sayings down pat.
All the what? Church sayings?
Yeah.
The church sayings. I'm a woman of faith. What do you expect? But it's true. Like I'm not, it's the truth. So being impactful. I remember one of my coaches said, like, when people think of you, you know how people are like, oh, I was just thinking of you the other day. Mm-hmm. What triggered the memory of me? Or what triggered, like if I haven't spoken to you in a year, what is it that made you think of me? Like that's very like profound to me. Or when people are like, I hear you in my head when people can be like, I hear your voice when I'm at the grocery store, or I hear your voice when I'm in the gym and want to give, like these types of things are like, that's really changing the world. I've had clients that prior to working with me weren't able to have children, and then they got their body to a place where they are then able to have kids. They should name their kids after me. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But like, that's life altering. That's generational. That's legacy. And so I think that's what we really are here to do, regardless of, you know, how society may label all these different giftings that we all have. We are a part. We are a part of a body, and so I think that I have such a dynamic gift in being able to shift people's approach to health, and not just being something that is reflected. Like, health is not a reflection of what happens when you step on the scale every day. So I believe like success is just the legacy that you leave, the impact that you make, no matter how small the encounter is. Like, if you pass me on the street, like if I gave you a compliment, like, and that changed your day, like, you know what I mean? So just going out there and not wearing what I'm going through, but being able to be a person that understands that I am an instrument. Like, I'm an instrument that God is essentially supposed to be flowing through. So how can I reflect him in everything that I do? That's successful.
Nice.
Right? And then and really also dominating in what I do. So I also think that the things that I do and that I'm passionate about, I should go and seek to continue to become, like, curate those gifts. So like going back to school, like I'm a learner. I love learning. So constantly, you know, seeking enrichment, so that I can be, and not just for my own personal validation, because I had to go back and forth with that. Do I want another degree or another certification because it feels good, because that makes me sound good, that makes my resume look good? Or is this something that really is going to help me to better perform my assignment? So, I think that's also success. And being able to, like, balance and live, and I don't like necessarily using the word balance, but to live harmoniously, and that knowing that everything at the same time, and that was my issue before, thinking that everything had to get 100% all the time.
Oh, nice.
That's not.
Nice. Welcome to the party.
Nah. No, I thought like everything had to always be, and that's being performance-based, but that's another conversation. But being able to live harmoniously and recognizing that when this is the priority right now in this season of your life, like that means that some other things going to have to go back to getting 10%, or just be on the back burner for right now, so that you're able to really learn. Like, every season that we're in, we're supposed to be evolving and learning something. I don't know how much higher I could get. So yeah, I didn't necessarily say like these are the things that categorize or make you successful, but I think I answered the question.
I told you I would let you know if you don't. It's okay. Okay, nice. So then, yeah, what are you up to now?
Now I am sitting here having a conversation with you, which is really fun. However, within the past, in June, so this is pretty fresh, my father and I have opened a gym.
Oh, nice.
Brand new. So that is just a whole, I didn't expect that coming at all. It literally came out of nowhere. So now operating as a gym owner just puts a whole new level of responsibility. And just a different, and you recognize then in reflection, like, oh, I see why I had to go through that, because I wasn't ready for that back then. You know what I mean? So I'm doing that now and building that business, building that platform, building a strong foundation there. Really recognizing and going through a lot of different shifts in my personal relationships, because we all are just transitioning, like, you know, Like, it's like, I know we've been adults, but we real adults now. And just understanding the shifts that take place at different stages and different seasons of your life of the people that are close to you, and recognizing the changes that are within them and the boundaries that we learn to set and the communication that needs to be prioritized in those relationships. So that's new. I am in school. I am matriculating a doctorate degree in physical therapy.
Nice.
So, and that's something that I've always wanted to do back in high school.
That's tough.
Yeah. So I'm actually taking the prerequisite courses now so that I can be eligible for the doctorate. I mean, I'm already eligible, but so that I can officially apply for that program. So I am in school for that, which is like, it's intense.
A lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hate school personally, so.
That's okay. I like it's like writing in a fresh note, writing notes and learning new things that you can apply. Like, school is different now, right? Like, I was just telling you, I'm taking A&P. I took that back in college, in my undergrad, and I love science, right? I love learning about the body. But now it's so much more, you're not just trying to pass, right? I'm really trying to understand this so I can be better, because I'm talking with people every day about their body. And so now, like, the knowledge that I had, like, nobody remembers what they learned, like what I learned in high school. I mean, we got to this point now, but now I can actually, and your brain is more developed and you're a lot more mature. Why are you laughing?
Because I remember so much of what I learned in high school. I'm sorry. I use geometry and trigonometry quite often.
Well, that's because that's an area of expertise for you. And your brain was able to, like, get that at that time and be able to absorb it. And you like numbers. I mean, you went to school for accounting, right? Yeah. Like, numbers, that makes sense to you. And so now that I'm hearing this, like, I'm not saying that the information is like, this is but it's just so much more. I'm not just trying to study and pass so I can go to the party. Like, I'm really trying to now digest the information, and, like, there's a difference between, like, your mind knowing and, like, your soul knowing something. You know, like, I know this. Like, I can expand upon it. I'm not just looking at flashcards and definitions. Like, I can really understand the steps of a process and why that, like, not terms and definitions, but really concepts. Yeah. Like, that's deeper. So that's really a priority for me right now. This gym and school right now are, like, my biggest priorities, and just continuing to, like, get to know myself and who I am now, and not just, like, someone that just shows up at all the places that she's supposed to be at a certain time and performs, but really, like,
yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, like, I know but, like, who are you, and why are you doing the things that you do, and are you really enjoying these things? Like, really having those conversations and getting to know myself. That's also a priority too. Yeah. So.
Okay. So I got one more question. What's it like working with your dad?
It's new. It's a whole new dimension of, like, I'm not daddy's little girl in this realm. I mean, I am, like, but him and I had to go through so much to be here. So it requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of humility, respect. And it's so cool. Like, it's so cool to recognize, how you can, like, really confront a situation and be like, like, 2 years ago I would have snapped, or, like, 3 years ago, like, I wouldn't have been able to be calm having this disagreement, or being in this meeting, or I know that probably would have hurt my feelings a while ago. But it's really a certain level of maturity that's required to be able to be in business with anybody. But now when you tie family and business together, everyone knows, like, the horror around that. But what it can be, and I mean, not say that for everybody, and but you know what I mean. But it's really a beautiful thing, because I know the growth that's had to take place within both of us to be able to be in the position where we are now, and taking the gifts and talents, because I wasn't raised with the expectation of like, you have to love fitness, you have to, you know, my father never wanted me to take over or anything like that. I just fell in love with health and wellness. Like, I really grew up in the industry and genuinely loved it on my own, and just taking it in a different, so tying his experience with my knowledge and who I am, it's just like, I don't know how else to say it rather than it's really cool and it's exciting. Every day is an adventure, and I know that it's preparing me for something greater. And it's great to see him in this realm, the passion that it allows me, because I don't know if there's really a stigma against like daddy-daughter and the traumas and heartbreaks that can be associated with those relationships, especially like young Black girls and their dads. Like, there's a lot wrapped up in that, and not just within him and us, but I think in culture altogether. So just being able to be in this space where I get to see him really still in that, like, even though like we're owning this business together, I still see him like as my father, in terms of like, he's still providing. He's still, despite what he's going through, what he feels emotionally, he still is going to show up regardless. Still wants to have a future for, you know. It's cool. It's exciting. It's new. I love it. And it's like low risk. Like, if I make a mistake, like, if I fall short, I've never been in this position before. It's not like I'm going to get fired.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different level of security within it, and trust. And so it's really cool.
Nice. All right. Cool. So then the last thing I have is just like, where can people find you? And like, if they want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
You can call me at, I'm just kidding. So, social media, I'm not a Facebook person. So I'm trying to work. It's like all these things. I'm really not that much of a social media person. Like, the work that social media takes is like a whole job in itself. I'm trying to get better at it, y'all. However, Instagram, my personal one is Chasing Charli, no E at the end of that Charli, because I'm classy. My business is Chasing Transformation. That's not Chasing Transformations. I don't know why people always think there's an S at the end of that, but it's Chasing Transformation. YouTube, Chasing Transformation. You can visit me in Owings Mills at our facility in Owings Mills, Maryland.
What's the name of the facility?
Chisel It Transformation Center.
Oh, nice.
Chisel It with a Z. Chisel It Transformation Center is where you can find my offices. And so we specialize in personal training, small group training, fitness classes. My fitness class is a bomb, and I'm not just saying because it's me. It's a lot of fun. So we have evening classes, if you're not ready to like commit to a trainer. And then I also do consulting. So I'm a nutrition expert and a lifestyle coach. So I do all the things in one. So it's really a place where you can get into a community that's going to help you to stay consistent, because consistency is what breeds results and transformation over time. So once you step in the doors, as our members are already saying, like, you can literally feel the energy. You can drag yourself in there and immediately feel the energy when you walk into the room. And that's bigger than me. That's bigger than my dad, you know? So it's just the gift that radiates.
Nice.
Is that all? I think those are the best ways to reach me right now. We're working on some other ones.
For sure. Well, thank you. Appreciate you for being here. That's all I got.
That's all she wrote. Pencil broke.
And
That was fun.
peace.
Peace out.